Yeah, it is pushing. It was in the hands of some people that are more accountable. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Starting, and then we'll start with roll call.
Salasa, absent. Char is here. Eberhardt. Silva, absent. Steelquist.
Present.
Nakamoto. Nakamoto, absent. Mitchell
Here.
is online.
Online.
Lee. Chan, absent. Kawano,
Here.
Witham.
Present.
Kirchman. Gallant.
Here, online.
Dela Cruz. Dela Cruz, absent. Typical Swane. Kirby. And Salasa is here. Chair, you have quorum with 12 members present.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And then we'll go with Honolulu Fire Department. I see they're they're out of fire. Okay. Well, if they come back, we'll circle back to them. But otherwise, HPD.
Chair, members, as well as the community. I'm Sergeant Wakabayashi, one of 3 sergeants that's assigned to this area. So I'm going to give you some information related to December's stats. Okay. As for motor vehicle thefts, that's UEVs, thefts from vehicles. We had 7 in December compared to 11 in November. Burglaries is 16. It remained the same at 16. Thefts, that includes pickpocketing, purse snatching, shoplifting, and so forth. That is 36 in December compared to November at 33. UMVs remain the same at 7 and 7. Assaults, 6 compared to 9. Sex assaults is 2 compared to none. Graffitis, just for December now, we had 0 compared to 2 previous month. Drugs is 1 compared to 2. And motor vehicle collisions at 98 compared to 92. Okay. That's for December's stats. As for old businesses, Department of Transportation was notified regarding the lights on Ward and Lunalilo. So it's in their hands now. They got to do an assessment. Abandoned vehicle section was also notified to see if they can expedite the toll on abandoned vehicles that we mark on the streets. It still averages about 3 weeks to a month, just to let you folks know, yeah. But we appreciate the community for helping us out, expedite on the boats, trailers. They removed that on Lunalilo. So it's a work in progress. Blocking intersections, running red lights on Lunalilo Street between Pioco and Pensacola. The teams that we send out frequently has been averaging about 50 to 70 citations every time they go out. It's a fishing pond, just so that you folks know. So we are enforcing, just when time permits. As well, going back to the 5-way stop on Prospect and Alapai, just to let you know, units have been making frequent checks, but when we're there, they don't see any violations. Yeah? So they haven't issued any citations for running the stop signs, just to let you folks know. Okay. And just to let you folks know, new business on Tuesday, December 27th at 8 to 10, Starbucks on the Evo Wing on Ala Moana. That's next to, if I'm correct, it's next to Spectrum and ABC store. Feel free to stop by. It's free coffee. You can talk to officers as well as the command that's going to be in charge will be there. I left some flyers on the table here. That's my report. Does you have anything for me?
So you said December.
Yes, that was for December because you guys took a break, yeah?
Yeah.
So they just compiled all the numbers for December stats.
No, you said.
Oh, Happy New Year, Sergeant.
Happy New Year.
Good to see you again. We'll go ahead and start with, we got Harris here now. Go ahead and start with questions from board members. Go ahead, Richard.
Sergeant, a couple of questions. First of all, quick overview of New Year's Eve in our area, this last New Year's Eve.
Okay, according to the stats that we were told by command, fireworks actually has been a little bit better. They look like they waited until the last minute compared to how they were shooting out every hour. So that's a good sign. That's also a work in progress. We're currently working with the DLE, the Department of Law Enforcement, as they're also going to utilize more drones, yeah, for the operations. But all I can tell you is at least no one, well, some people got hurt, at least no one got passed away, or, you know what I mean, during the fireworks. Fire calls, I'm pretty sure each of you is going to touch bases with that, but I think they did have a couple of fires, but they didn't lose like a total loss, yeah, for the buildings.
And also, you know, like the legalization of marijuana,
Yes.
it's still not legal. Have there been any issues of people selling it? Not the legal, you know, outlets, but say the person across the street, you see them and they're coming out and the cars are pulling up and they're, quote, selling just the general stuff.
Yeah, well, that's kind of hard for us too. So like, you're correct. It's not legal to sell outside, but there is some stores that do sell it legally. And they have what they call marijuana card. So it's for us, for police, it's hard for us to say that they're doing it illegally. Yeah. So if we do see it in violation in front of us on a public roadway, we can approach, ask for their card, and then they have to take it back home. They kind of just randomly smoke it anywhere. Yeah. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Are there any questions from board members? I'll get to you in a hot second. Wait, Nancy, did you have a question? Okay, go for it.
On the topic of marijuana, hate to bring this up again, but Tipsy Pig, they often smoke in the back there, which I've brought up numerous times. But when you guys come, you know, obviously all they have to do is like throw it down, throw it away, hide it, right? But this is every day. Every day. And then there's a lot of drug activity still. Just on King Street, side streets. There's a lot of dealing going on over there on the corners. You know that. But
We do
if
know
there's
that.
a way you can figure out how to reduce the public smoking.
Okay.
I know. We're asking for the world, but just throwing that out there.
Well, I'll definitely go back to our command to let them know. I think they can do more frequent checks. The problem with smoking in public or if illegal drugs like that, we have to see it actually in person, yeah, to see the violation. We got to work close with the prosecutors. I don't know if you guys know, they really want it on a silver platter, yeah. And when I say that, I mean in respect. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They want us to see the violation, what we see based on a training experience. We kind of just base it on third party or witnesses, yeah. That's why it's hard for us by the time we come, because they see the blue lights far away. Even if we don't have our blue lights and we come walking in, the people that attend to that particular bar, they yell out, yeah, the pigs, or they say, popo coming. So by the time we come, we're not going to see any violations. So that's the hard part. So either, like I say, we are currently working with drones. So hopefully the drones can be a big part, yeah, in taking down a lot of illegal activity in the area.
I understand we're at four traffic fatalities so far already this year. Is that correct?
That I'm not sure. I don't want to say, you know what I mean? I have to double check on that. But you said it was 4. I'll double check.
Okay, thank you very much, Nancy. Are there any further questions from board members? Okay, seeing none, we do have a new, sorry, Ian, we'll get to you in right after her, because this lady came here. Yes, so this is where we can, oh, yes. Yeah, over at thank you so much. And everyone else who would like to speak, if you could line up behind her, please. So Ian and Janelle, thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and, yeah. Come up to the microphone. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Microphone.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Good evening. My name's Selena, and I have a problem. I just moved back to my old apartment, and after 2 weeks, I noticed somebody who making the illegal thing below my unit, and getting worse and worse. I'm kind of suffer. And couple recently, a couple of weeks, they even no smell, but I feel very sick. I feel they're using the machine, one in the bedroom below my bed, and a little bit vibrating. And after I slept 2-3 hours, I woke, my throat is swollen, intestine, uncomfortable, my head is kind of stiff. And I look at the mirror, and inside my throat is red, and my tongue is, swollen too. So a little bit headache. So I wonder what they're doing. I researched on the line. It looked like carbon monoxide. It's that kind of symptom. So I hope anybody gets some idea to solve that kind of problem. Thank you.
Sergeant, if you wouldn't mind connecting with her, and then address, and figure it out. I can hear that question. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The sergeant, will take care of that. So, I guess we'll go ahead and call a quick recess while they handle that. No recess. Okay. All right. We'll go ahead then and continue then. So next was Ian, and then okay.
I somewhat need the question with the officer too, so I think your recess may have been prudent. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. So should we then circle back?
Or the officer can stop.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. Okay. Yep. Well, we have limited time. So I will, when he gets done, we'll circle back to that. I'll go ahead and deliver hopefully my only chair's report. So welcome back everyone to the new year. So initially last year, I know I said I wanted to have this be focused on Bill 7, but then also tempered with the fact that usually a lot of the electeds it's good for the electeds to talk about their legislative priorities. So if we wind up not being able to talk about Bill 7 as much as we would like this session, I intend to have February cleared for the Bill 7. And other things coming up this year. This is an election year, so traditionally we have had candidate forums to give candidates a chance to talk about what they would like to do. So if we have that conversation, we'll get there. But otherwise, that's kind of the preview for at least this month, next month, and then looking forward.
What exactly is Bill 7?
Bill 7 is the city and county initiative to try and put up a lot of affordable housing very quickly. And we're seeing a lot of, Bill 7 projects going up in our district. Yes, we have it as agenda item D, so we'll get there. 9D, so we'll get there this meeting. And like I said, if we don't get to talk about it satisfactorily, clearing it for February. And thank you. That's my report. Okay. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and move on towards elected officials while the police officer is still busy. So first up, we have Governor Josh Green's representative, Russell Pang. Happy New Year, Russell.
Happy New Year, everybody. Aloha. Trying to get there. My camera's going. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2026. Okay. Just before we get started, I believe that was Nancy who asked about the fatalities on Oahu, and there have been 4 so far this year on Oahu, unfortunately. One was a motor vehicle occupant, and 3 were pedestrians. So just want to share that information since it was brought up. Let me see here. Wanted to let you know that the Department of Land and Natural Resources has implemented a parking management and fee system at the Pu'uka'a State Wayside. That's the Tantalus Park and Lookout. The parking fee for visitors is $7 per vehicle. Reservations are not required. There is no parking fee for local residents. There also is a fee for commercial vehicles, and that ranges from anywhere from $15 to $50, depending on how many passengers there are. And all of the fees that are collected will be reinvested in park improvements. So I wanted to share that with you. Governor Green has declared 2026 as the year of the coastal Kuleana, year of our coastal Kuleana. Governor encourages all residents and visitors to celebrate our coastal ecosystems and help care for our coast. So I'll put some educational material into the chat room. It includes a calendar of events throughout the year, as well as volunteer opportunities. So if anybody is interested, I'll share that information. Governor Green will also deliver his annual State of the State address on Monday, January 26th at 10 a.m. It will be live streamed on his Facebook page, as well as probably picked up by the various local news outlets. I do not have an update on the repaving of Ward and Keomoku overpasses or the Lunalilo Street, the area below the H1. That contract is still being finalized, I was told. So as soon as that's done, they can move forward on the repaving. I will continue to keep tabs on that and will update you as soon as I find out the schedule. And that's all I have, I believe. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Chair.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Russell. Oh, yes. So we'll get back to you, Russell, with questions. Honolulu Fire just showed up. So we'll go ahead and take them. Fire, thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Neighborhood Board. Apologies for being late. My name is Captain Daniel Go with the Honolulu Fire Department, and we have a Firefighter 1 Keola Hano Hong to read the statistics and fire safety tip.
Good evening. So for the month of December, the year 2025, we had a couple of rubbish fires, a couple of cooking fires in our area, and 15 motor vehicle collisions. And our fire safety tip for the month is electrical safety in the home. So check for electrical hazards in your home. Here's some tips to keep your ohana safe. Plug one heat-producing appliance, like coffee makers or toasters, into a wall receptacle outlet at a time. Major appliances like refrigerators, dryers, stoves should be plugged directly into a wall receptacle outlet. Extension cords and power taps or strips should not be used. Right. Check electrical cords to ensure they are not running across doorways or under carpets. Extension cords are intended for temporary use. Have a licensed electrician install additional receptacle outlets to eliminate using extension cords. Ensure electrical work is performed by a licensed electrician.
Yeah,
and that is the safety tip for the month.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from board members for fire? Yeah, Richard.
A quick rundown. What was your activity like on New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve, our shift was off duty, but speaking to the other watch, I don't recall them saying anything significant. I don't believe there were any firework related incidents that they went on. That's not to say it didn't happen in other neighborhoods, but I don't think there were any in Makiki.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any questions for fire from attendees? Claire.
Thank you again, Fire. You were discussing electrical cords, and I have read that our surge suppressors and stuff, we should change out every 5 years. And I noticed the one I used for my computer and printer and all that. Yeah, once in a while, something smelled funny in the house, like plastic burning. I finally got around to changing out that one, and I saw a section of the white cover cord was dark. So it must have been heating up inside, yeah. So for people to keep in mind to write the date on those those cords and to change them out I've read every 5 years, but you folks know better than I. And this year for Christmas gifts, last year I gave out fire blankets. This year, everybody got brand new surge suppressors. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. She makes a good point. So, yeah, regularly inspect your surge protectors if there's any discoloration or any evidence of melting. We also recommend no piggybacking off of surge protectors, meaning don't plug an extension cord into a surge protector to extend it. Those should go directly into the wall, and don't plug any heating or cooling devices into your surge protectors. Thank you, Claire. Anybody
Thank you,
else?
Claire. Was there anyone else from attendees? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then now that now that the sergeant is free again, sorry, Russell.
Can I
Once
just-
more.
Can I just add one thing for HFD?
Yes.
Can we just say congratulations to Honolulu Fire Department for 175 years?
Yes.
I think throughout the year we may be having some celebrations here and there, and there may be one planned for in our neighborhood, the Cartwright District Park, or the baseball
Yeah,
diamond.
the Cartwright Field, yeah.
Because Alexander Cartwright was one of our first fire chiefs. So when we get closer to that day, I'll let you guys know.
Thank you very much. We'd love to know. Take care. Okay. Questions for HPD again. Claire.
Where are you?
Behind.
Sergeant Wakabayashi, I want to thank you. At my condo this year, at Christmas time, we had an intruder and a trespasser. So one trespasser sleeping by the elevator and another intruder, I have them backwards, right? The intruder tore down our Christmas tree. So thank you folks for responding. Regarding that intersection, I highly doubt that people are suddenly all stopping and you folks aren't giving any citations. I know when I sat out there with one of your officers, it was just a free for all and he was waiting for the most egregious. But I do want to tell you, I was crossing that street one day and I stopped and looked all ways and started walking across, and somebody looking the other way came and turned left. They were about 6 feet away from me before they stopped. So it's still extremely dangerous for pedestrians there. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ian.
Aloha, Chair. Ian Ross. A couple of quick comments. One, I heard from some of our neighbors up in Papakolea that while HPD had a really strong presence early in the evening, starting at before even 9 p.m., they began to leave, probably addressing other important concerns around 12:15. And if anyone was looking up, that's when all the fireworks suddenly came out. So clearly it was suppressing activity, but maybe not for quite as long. And I wasn't sure if that was on your radar, but clearly it worked earlier in the evening. Next up, I wanted to double check on what I had raised at the November meeting related to residents near 1158 Lunalilo Street. I brought it up to the mayor's office, Megan Johnson, and I followed up in December as we didn't have a meeting. And the mayor's office says it had been forwarded to your department related to this concern. So there's a lot of trespassers at 1158 Lunalilo Street. These buildings are vacant. I believe the owner is in China, very hard to reach at many hours. There's been break-ins, there's been fires. Apparently the demolition permit's been held up for like years and years now, where the owner wants to tear the property down, isn't able to, isn't near the property. And then when neighbors call, of course, they can't report trespassing as it's not their property. So they've been forwarded. So I wanted to see if you had any updates on that at this time. Thank you very much.
Again, sorry to just let you know, they didn't give me the minutes from the last meeting. So I will double check on that. When I came here, I didn't hear anything about actually Lunalilo. So let me just get the address straight. 1158 Lunalilo, right?
It's all the neighbors around there. That's the property being trespassed. Yeah.
So Break-ins, fires, you said?
1158 Unalivo Street.
I have to double check on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You have a contact number?
Yes, I'll write it down for you after
Sure.
a second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You might want
I
to,
just want the other people to get questions.
oh yeah, of course, you know, just in case I break away, that's why. Make sure I'll call back.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, were there any further questions for the police? Nope. Okay. Thank you so much, Sergeant.
Thank you.
Okay. Back to questions for the governor's rep. Are there any board members with questions for Russell Pang? Eric.
Hi, Russell. This is Eric Salasa. Question about the Walla State Park, the fee for non-residents. You know, there is some street parking just outside the gate of that state park. Wondering if there's any solutions, planning, you know, so it doesn't create a parking problem slash hazard on Round Top Drive, because I can foresee, you know, those big tourist vans, that buses that constantly go up, and other non-residents now parking on the street because they don't want to pay the fee and just walk in. So hopefully more signage will go up. I'm just curious if that has been thought through as well. Thank you.
Eric, I'm gonna have to check on that for you. I wasn't able to get that information from our DLNR folks this afternoon. So I'll check on that for you, but it's a good point, because definitely don't want those vehicles lining up to park outside of the park to avoid the fees, as we've seen at other locations. So I'll look into that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Next we have Arthur Eberhardt.
Yeah, thank you. I'm concerned about a meeting that was held by our state legislators on insurance. The consumer protector and another agency was there, but no one from our insurance commission was there. Psyche, who is the director, I thought should have been present. This is regarding not only condo insurance, but homeowners insurance, and the rate of increase that these insurance companies are charging now. So can you follow up and find out, is the insurance commissioner not involved? And are we, as owners of homes as well as condos, just to sit back and take what we're given? Thank you.
Arthur, do you know when that meeting took place?
About a week ago.
Okay, I'll check on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Arthur. Are there any further questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees for the governor's representative? Yes.
Yeah, my name is Richard Ching. I just had a question about the Tantalus Drive. I was wondering if you guys were planning to pave that. That road is awful.
Richard, that Tantalus Drive is a city road. I can check with our counterparts in the city, Department of Transportation and Department of Facility Management. So I'll pass that question along to them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
You should be aware that it is a city road, but the sides are state. The trees overhanging the valleys and so on. So it's a complex thing because there are jurisdictional problems between the city and state on Tantalus Drive.
Thank you, John. Okay, seeing no more questions, thank you very much, Russell. Next up, we have Senator Carol Fukunaga. Happy
Good
New
evening,
Year,
Chair.
Hector.
Good evening, members. Senator Fukunaga right now is involved on putting a lot of last-minute legislation. We have deadlines coming, so tonight she could not be here. But I think all of you got her email with her newsletter. And we also have placed it on the chat. I will be here later on to take any questions or concerns. We have a brevity of time. We have a problem with time, but I'll be here to take those questions or concerns. For your information, for the Department of Law Enforcement, Mike Lambert, gave us a report that, according to the estimations, the fire problem dropped 30%. There's all the information on this newsletter, and I think you would like to see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Hector. Looks like we already have a question for you. Chuck?
Yes, Hector, good to see you. I wanted to commend the senator. She's always been a champion of the kupuna, and being that I'm now a kupuna, I appreciate that more. But I wanted to bring something to the attention of everybody here, because there's a lot of condos that have kupuna living in it. And at the end of her newsletter, she has a little article and a plea for any kind of input as far as protecting the fixed income owners in Hawaii. You know, that's a lot of condo people. And in particular, what she says at the bottom, which should be of interest to a lot of us kupuna, is, and now I invite you owners, board members, managers, and residents to share your ideas and help shape fair, practical solutions for Hawaii's condo communities. So that was very nice of her to do. And I hope that the community embraces this and gives her a lot of input. And thank you again.
Her email is sen kukunaga at capital.hawaii.gov. So if you have any information, we love to have it. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Are there any further questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Hector. Next up, we have Rep. Della Obalati.
Hello, everyone. I believe I have a presentation. Awesome. Thank you for getting that up. My name is Ka'ili. I'm here on behalf of Representative Della Albalati. Speak on a few things. Last Thursday, we had Good Governance Day, where the legislators and community organizations like HAPA, Common Sense, and Our Hawaii met together to discuss how we can improve elections and ensure that government works fair and reduce corruption in that way. From Della, the Representative Belati's role on the Good Governance Caucus, she's planning to introduce a few bills. One bill relating to going directly against corporate money, going against Citizens United ruling. And she's also working on another bill, collaborating with Ali Silver, the man who did the petition to get the name of the legislator who allegedly took $35,000 in a brown paper bag. So we're still looking for a legislative investigation in dealing with that. If you can go to the next slide, please. So just want to show off our current Instagram. Forgot to introduce myself. I am the legislative aide for Della Albalati. So I do a lot of the Instagram and the newsletters that come out through there. As you've seen in the news, ICE has been a pretty hot topic. It's very sad. Representative Fine's very sad. The events that's been going on. So she's been trying to inform our community. She's been invited on Hawaii News Now and HPR to discuss immigration. And we'll be continuing linking to the thing she says on publicly and putting that in shorts, putting that in newsletters, and can be able to link up to that with what's shown there. One more thing I want to talk about with her spot on, with her being chair of public safety. She recently had a meeting about solitary confinement, the restrictive housing group, where she co-convenes with Senator Fukunaga. And in that, she's still continuing to look at legislation she passed last year on ensuring that people who go to solitary confinement are being treated right and being treated well, and ideally just reducing a lot of the damage that can be done there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello. Okay.
There's our number and email. Please call us with anything you have that comes up.
Okay, round 2 fight. Okay, this microphone is working. The previous one seems to have gone dead. Thank you. We'll start with questions from the board. I'll go with Amanda.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I just have a quick question if we could circle back. It wasn't with you when you were here, but discussion about the previous decades-old radioactive material here at Makiki District Park was a hot topic in September. I reached out to Bellotti, the office. I know it was in a transition at that time, but I was just wondering if we could circle back on an email chain or something. I can reach back out to the office regarding the pits and any managed check-ins.
Yeah. I will ensure that we have your email, and I'll get back to you on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Next up, Chuck.
Yes, Kelly, please extend our thanks to Representative Bellotti for standing up and checking on this bribery issue. My question is, why is it taking so long for the investigation to continue with the Attorney General?
Yeah.
Or whoever else there is.
We've been asking that same question too. It's been going on for, I think, 4 years now. And as we've heard from the Attorney General, they don't want a parallel investigation with the legislative branch, but we're pretty confident the information that we want wouldn't be considered a parallel investigation. We just want the name. So yeah.
So she's going to stay very persistent on this, along with Senator Fukunaga.
Yes, I can be sure about that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Are there any, Eric, did you have a?
I think it's very important that we get to the bottom of this and we don't let the Senate drag their feet any longer. Because for us to have confidence in our legislators and our lawmakers, we need to know who this person was and hold them accountable.
Yes.
So speaking for myself, I'm sure for many other people, we need to know this as soon as possible. Another year is not acceptable. It needs to be this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Are there any further questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any from attendees? Richard.
Yeah, my name is Richard Ching. You said that Representative Al-Bellotti is in charge of the immigration. Yeah, I'd like to say that people should not be impeding officers. They are federal officers. They're doing a job, and don't touch them. Don't impede them, because what happened in Minnesota is awful, but it wasn't the officer's fault. So if we can just stay away from them, let them do their job. They're taking bad people off the streets. These people have warrants. That's why the federal officers are there. So don't impede them. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. I do want to, Representative Al Bellotti has been talking about the Oahu Rapid Response Committee, who does show up at when ICE comes around. And we are very confident in saying that, like, we don't want people impeding in the investigation. The reason why we have the Oahu Rapid Response Coalition, and there will be a link to it on the newsletter, is so that we can train people to ensure that they're doing everything legally correct, to ensure that people are safe in what they're doing, and that our group of volunteers are ensuring that people still have the rights that they have for being involved in our justice system, but also staying very safe and allowing our the officers to do their jobs.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. Are there any further questions? Yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle Luke. I'm a resident at Kahalimoy. On the ICE issue, there are obviously different interests. One is the enforcement of warrants and federal agents doing their job. The other is to what extent they may be abusing their power. So in Hawaii, and maybe we don't have as much activity here as on the mainland, but in Hawaii, is there anyone in your office or in the state that you're aware of that is actually monitoring those activities to ensure that these agents are complying with the law?
So again, that's a very good question. We are looking at legislation to ensure like a anti-masking law. And I'm going a little bit out of my depth here, but we are looking at legislation to see that the justice system has its full ability to work within all of these investigations that happen through here. The organization that I know about is the Oahu Rapid Response Coalition, who works in filming and ensuring that everything is documented on the civilian side. There has been situations where sheriffs have cooperated in places where there is protection, like courthouses and places of worship, that we're looking into ensuring that those places are still protected. So if you want, I can take your email to ensure that I get a better response on that one too.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Are there any further questions?
You said that was Rapid Response, Oahu Rapid Response Coalition.
Yeah, ORRC. I will go look at the newsletter to ensure.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Kaili.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take this last question. Adam.
Okay, I have to say, I think it's worth reminding people that ICE is a very new organization in the government. It was created right after 9/11 and the wake of the Patriot Act. It has very little oversight. And we are just now learning how that agency has, like, how they are accountable. And so I think it's very important that the public inform themselves about how that agency and how agencies like them should be just looked over and watched and maybe considered a little more deeply than just face value. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Adam. And thank you very much, Kaili.
Yes. Forgot one more comment. I have a QR code to our newsletter for all of informing people about that type of stuff. And make sure all of you come out for opening day this January 21st at 10 a.m. meet your legislature at the office. We'll be in office 420.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have State Rep Kim Coco Iwamoto.
Good evening, everybody, and chairs and members. I'm Janelle Fujinaka. I'm actually representing Representative Kim Coco Iwamoto. She would like to be here. Unfortunately, she has other obligations and looking over bills that are important. I'd like to announce on behalf that I and myself with Coda Daly is her legislative assistance for this session. Our office actually just received this morning in regards to some concerns and comments that were raised earlier in regards to the legislative investigation and corruption. And Representative Coco wanted me to inform all of you guys that this came from the Kailua Neighborhood Board. They drafted up a resolution and would like to share this with you folks in regards to hopefully convincing this board to also send the rest of the legislators a similar type of resolution, because of the fact that she is one that is introducing legislation for failure to report bribery, which establishes offenses for failure to report as a misdemeanor. And this is a really hot topic for this legislative session that what she wants to introduce. Other bills that she wants to introduce this session is, of course, the millionaire surtax. This is an high earners surtax on taxable income for certain taxpayers. So she's really trying to hit in on those higher paying tax percentages so that they pay their fair share of taxes. And then she's also introducing a safeguard on ICE overreach and working on that legislation to protect, of course, our people as well as our residents. Require law enforcement officers acting under the code of law to identify themselves specifically. And of course, make sure that they're following within the confines of the law, working with county and state law enforcement agencies. And then last, she's also introducing stakeholder status for condo owners and allowing funds for condominium education trust funds to be used for education and resources for condominium unit owners as primary stakeholders in condominium governance. So there's a lot more legislation that she wants to introduce this session, and working in partnership with, of course, Representative Baladi's office, as well as Senator Fukunaga's office, in ensuring that for the Consumer Protection Committee, as well as the Good Governance Caucus, and then, of course, the Public Safety Committee that she's on, she wants to make sure that, of course, our districts that align with each other and our neighbors are absolutely being heard in legislation this session. So again, like Kaili reiterated, please join us for, of course, the 21st of January opening day session from 10 o'clock. I am more than happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Janelle. Are there, starting with questions from the board? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Oh, Adam.
Yeah, how would we, if this board decided they wanted to piggyback off this or start our own demand request, how would we go about that?
I believe your board has the opportunity to introduce your resolutions based on neighborhood board rules and regulations. So that's really up to this board in order for you guys to formulate. That is in Representative Iwamoto's discussion with her this morning. She said it is in your interest because it is a part of the resolution that was drafted December 4th from the Kailua Neighborhood Board. So if we start getting more of that, then hopefully this will be evident to, of course, the legislature to do their job correctly and ensure that we start policing ourselves or them policing themselves as legislators.
Can I make a motion that we discuss duplicating this?
So we cannot adopt or bring that up this, right now, but certainly I will put it on the next agenda for sure.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, a motion is not needed to put it on the agenda.
Yes, Mr. Sequest.
Oh,
I only
Okay,
made,
no,
can I apologize?
Take it. Here you go.
It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Claire.
Hi, Janelle. Thank you, Chair. Okay, right now I'm on the private citizen side of the table and oh yeah, 21% increase in my mortgage, 18% increase in my HOA fee this month. That's hundreds of dollars more a month I'm spending. I would love to be more involved. So how do private citizens get involved with all of these efforts towards this mistake of self-governance of condos? Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. And this is really important. I think any of our residents, whether you're sitting on neighborhood board or your AOA board and or private citizen, all of you have the opportunity to present your testimony at these bill hearings and committee meetings to ensure that our legislators are, of course, being held accountable in civic dialogue. So whether you support or oppose any of the legislation that's being presented, your voices are just as strong. And Rep. Yamamoto is one of those legislators that wants to hear from you and wants to make sure that the rest of these committees and legislators also hear from you guys. So please join us when those bill hearings are available, which all of you guys have access to when those hearings are from the Capitol website. So if anything, that Capitol website also affords you the opportunity for you to get notified of when those hearings are as well. So they've upgraded that feature. I do not.
Okay. Thank you, Claire. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much, Janelle.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Rep. Ikaika Olds. Happy New Year, Ikaika. I see you online.
Okay, hang on. I'm getting my phone set up here. I apologize. I'm actually right around the corner from you guys. I'm at Marinol for an event for my kids. Rep. Olds from House District 23. Sorry, there's a light behind me. Okay,
No, no, it's good.
So, yep, just to follow up. So right now on my bill package, I have all homeless related bills at the moment. I just want to point out that I do really agree with the situation that's going on with condos, and I firmly believe that condominiums are little governments, and we need to find ways to be able to regulate it because a really bad condo board can make or break everything. But with that, so just some bills that might be pertinent for the board. My safe entranceway bill essentially puts a 10-foot radius bubble in front of commercial businesses and residents that disallows people from domiciling or storing their property on top public space. Another one is my safe bus stop bill, which does a very similar thing, which basically means you can't domicile within 20 feet of a bus stop. And my safe waterway, which basically says that individuals cannot domicile in, on, or directly around fresh waterway that leads to the ocean. This is to help kind of address the situation of the fresh waterways we have in our district that all feed into the Olawai. And 2 out of the 3 of these waterways have active homeless encampments that live inside. And unfortunately, a lot of the Opala makes its way into the ocean. This puts little buffers that you can still reside in these spaces or near these spaces. You just cannot be immediately in the space, in which case your trash or things may get into the waterway and then into the ocean. I'll kind of sum it up there. The bills are not necessarily finalized yet. We have some that we're kind of shuffling around, but I thought those might be 3 that are pertinent for this board and this community, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much, Ikaika. Are there any questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Ikaika, and especially for bills dealing with homelessness.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Representative Andrew Garrett.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, good evening, Chair and board members. Thank you so much for allowing us to represent. My name is Takemi Nakasone for Representative Garrett, who is unfortunately out of town at this moment. And he's asked me to report on a few things. One is already been mentioned by the other representatives that we are having our opening day on January 21st, next week, Wednesday, for you all to come and visit. Our room is 323, and we welcome you anytime after 10 o'clock in the morning after the session. Second, he would like to let you know that he will be sending a newsletter for the district about a week after that to detail some of the bills that he is going to be introducing, as well as some other activities that he's done in the past. And thirdly, he would like to have an opportunity in your next meeting in February to kind of introduce some of the bills that he's introduced this session, if that's allowed. And if you have any questions, please call us at 808-586-8475. That's about it.
Thank you very much, Takemi. Are there any questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Takemi.
Thank you so much and have a great day.
Okay, next up, Office of Hawaiian Affairs let me know that they will not be able to make this meeting. They'll be at the next one. So I'll go ahead and move on to city reports, starting with Board of Water Supply. Okay, unfortunately, no Michelle Harmon, so we'll move on to Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative, Megan Johnson.
Hi, good
Happy New
evening.
Year, Megan.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, are you still there, Megan?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Did
there we
it cut
go.
out? Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sure when it cut out. I was just saying that in the interest of time, that a written report that I see on the screen was submitted, and it includes responses to questions that were posed at the last November meeting. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know. I also dropped a link to the mayor's January 2026 newsletter in the chat. And I just wanted to mention, and I will, I also dropped a link to this as well, but on December 1st, the city launched a new and improved HNL 311 system, which our residents can use to report issues in their communities that need to be fixed or addressed by the city. Residents can submit requests for service via the Honolulu HNL 311 mobile app, which is available on Apple or Android devices, or by visiting the website hnl311.com. The new HNL 311 system is more intuitive and easier to navigate, which means it has never been easier for residents to submit requests for service to the city. So anyhow, I have a link for that new system. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to respond.
Thank you very much, Megan. Are there any questions from board members? Adam.
Yeah. First thing, I really appreciate the 311 app. I use it all the time. It also saves me from not having to call the police about things that really they don't need to be concerned with. They've got bigger things to worry about than like a car parked illegally or something. So the other thing so those are the answers to the questions we asked last time.
Correct.
Document. And so we're not going to answer those questions right now just for the sake of time, or I mean, I appreciate you, but okay. All right. I'll read over the answers then, and I'll bring up the response next time.
Richard. Thank you, Adam.
What can you tell us about the Pence Metro project that's empty? We were told that there was an issue with the water sprinkler system.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
tell us what you can.
Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
question. I personally don't have the information, but I can certainly inquire and I can get back to you at the next meeting with an update.
Okay.
Or yeah, or go to hno311.com and DPP will respond. Yep, Harris.
Good evening, Megan.
Good
On our
evening.
agenda or discussion this evening, I saw in your report there was some follow-up on that 1158 Luna Lilo. Could
Correct.
you expand on that so that I know that it was discussed earlier this evening and actually it was shared with HPD to follow up. So I don't want to waste their time if there's something that was specific that was addressed on that. So.
I was able to get responses by both the Department of Planning and Permitting, DPP, and HPD, and I just didn't want to interrupt HPD's report. And I think that it's being brought up on the screen. So HPD said that they will continue to monitor the location, but yes, it's quite a lengthy discussion from the Department of Planning and Permitting regarding various complaints and what has been done. I would say that the most recent update, it's on the next page, if you could bring it up, and it talks about this adequate determination for an affordable renting project. It was mailed. Actually, I'm sorry. I think it's like sorry. Yes, and so for a building permit, and then so this is like what's happening, that no plans were uploaded and no approved demolition permit has been issued. So I think that was part of the question of what's going on with the plans, and so that's the most recent update that they were able to provide about the status of the demolition, and then that's from DPP, and HPD just had some comments right below that about their continuing to monitor the situation.
Okay, thank you, Harris. Next, Michelle.
Hi, this is Michelle Luke from Kahale Moy. Can you go one above that Luna Lilo project to the 1617 project? I think maybe it's above that. So the 1617 project is the one that's near Kahale Moy. Can you expand on the status of the permitting?
Yeah, if somebody wouldn't mind bringing up the report, there is a response from the Department of Planning and Permitting. It said that, so it's, I think it's on, it's number 4, there it is. Okay, so the submitted building permits for the demolition, excuse me, of the front and rear structures for the 1617 Alapai Street were issued on April 15th, 2025, and as of January 7th, 2026, are currently pending building and stormwater inspections.
Okay, so can you expand on that? And what I mean by that is we understand that there was a permit that might have been issued, not a building permit, maybe in August, to allow them to proceed without building permits while the building permit was being reviewed. Is that correct?
That I would need to, I'm sorry, I don't have that information, but I can follow up with DPP to inquire about that.
Okay, and my ask to you is if you can check with DPP regarding access to records by the public. The last time that I went there a few weeks ago into the office, a lady there said, oh, we can't service requests at the desk anymore. You have to go home and submit it via email and we'll respond in 10 days. And then last week, I got an email asking that I resubmit it. And the notes in her email said that we could go and ask for records on the desk. So it's very important for my neighbors to be able to find out what's actually happening with this project. And it's been very difficult to get that information from DPP. So if you can please clarify what that process is and maybe why our request hasn't been responded to, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Are there any further questions? Ian.
Thank you, Chair. I'll try to keep this brief as we've had a lot of discussion on it already this evening. Thank you very much for the update on the permit. I think this is exactly what we're looking for. Could you just clarify if a permit for demolition is contingent on a permit to build another project? Because I understand if something's being held up for additional construction, but in the short term, there's a lot of interest from the neighbors and potentially the owner on just seeing that the current structures are torn down. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I will ask for a response to that question. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ian. Are there one more question? Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much, Megan.
Thank you.
And next we have Councilmember Scott Nishimoto.
Sorry, guys, little problem there. Heath with Councilmember Nishimoto's office. Just excited to share the new off-leash dog park at Punahou Square opened. It's at the corner of Punahou and Wilder. Sits on the other side of the park. Wanted to say thanks to the city, the mayor, and Department of Parks and Recreation for making this space a reality. The park is closed Tuesday mornings for routine maintenance, but it was exciting. Councilmember went to the opening.
Thank you very much, Heath, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. We have questions from the board members, so starting with Eric.
Hi, my name is Eric. Yeah, we definitely love the dog park. Thank you very much. It's been a long process, but we finally got it done, and we're very excited for that. We can, now that the fencing is up, and the lay of the land, we can really kind of see how it looks with the fencing up. We brought this up before when we were first talking about in discussion is about some of the plants that are within that fence, the smaller ones. Definitely, I believe, could be thought out as far as the landscaping goes, tree removals, the small ones. Now, obviously not the large historic tree, but a lot of the smaller trees around the perimeter to let more light in so that grass can grow, because currently there's no grass. It's just dirt, roots, and leaves. So maybe hopefully the next phase would be landscaping, a lot of tree removal, and then planting of grass would be beneficial to improve the look and function of the dog park, because right now I don't believe many people are using it for they're still going to Archie Baker Park, even though that's supposed to be an on leash park. People are letting their dogs off leash there. So if we want to encourage more use of this new dog park, I think we need to improve it. Thank you.
I can pass those concerns along to DPR. Thanks.
Thank you, Eric. Are there any other questions for the council member's office? Seeing none from the board, any questions from attendees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Heath.
Thank you.
Next up, we have council member Tyler DeSantos Tam.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, Robin. Happy New Year.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so I shared our January newsletter in the chat. I want to say it's good to see you guys all in the new year. So I wanted to share two items. Bill 72, which is a topic of discussion for board business. I know it's D later on this evening. But just to run down, I know council member is either there or he's coming to answer questions. But Bill 72 will allow for affordable rental projects in business zoning districts. It's updating loading requirements and it will overall simplify development standards within the city. So that's the intent of Bill 72. Kind of the intricacies and the intent behind the bill. Council members coming and he'll be able to speak towards that in greater detail later on that evening. Bill 73 is our traffic code bill. overall to kind of modernize the traffic code. It's a little bit outdated, so we're convening with different departments on how to just update traffic and vehicle regulations to make our roadways better equipped to serve all users, all the people of the city. And I'm here, and Councilmember will be here soon to answer any questions and concerns you folks have.
Thank you very much, Robin. Are there any? Well, he will be here later. But nonetheless, are there any pressing questions from board members? Seeing none, are there any questions from attendees? Seeing none, thank you very much, Robin, and hopefully we'll see Councilmember Tyler soon.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.
Next up, we have community concerns from residents, limited to 2 minutes each. Residents not board members can share comments and concerns that are not listed on the agenda. Per the Sunshine Law, concerns not on the agenda may be presented, but the board cannot take action. Are there any community concerns? Claire.
Thank you, Chair. Claire Santos again. Two quick things. One is we discussed the five-way intersection. I just want to update you all. I talked with DTS. For now, we're going to put flashing lights on the stop signs on the east-west stop signs. Supposed to have them in by this March. We'll see what happens with budgetary considerations. I called the engineer today and didn't get a call back, so I'll hopefully have good news. That's my first quick one. The second quick one is I want this board to consider very strongly, with all the affordable housing going up in our community, what it means to have community input, because with Bill 7 and the subsequent bills now, there is no allowance for community input. These structures will outlive us. They will last a good 75 years, if not more. When we had all the community input for Kaka'ako, it was just a checkbox, and then they went on and did what they wanted anyway. We don't just want community input. We want it to be actionable. We want to have input that can change things, not just a checkbox that we listen to the public. These structures, if built, what's the word we're using? Irresponsibly. For example, if you have a garden lanai, it's gone. You don't have sunlight. You can't charge your solar panels. Okay. These structures, if built recklessly, can ruin a neighborhood. We want to have input and have actionable options in that input. So I want you to think about that, because communities are destroyed by reckless towers being built on any patch of land. So I want you to have that in the back of your mind, because I will hope in the future this board will do a resolution towards getting a legislator to give us that input on Bill 7 that is actionable input. Okay, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Claire. Yeah, I mean, we have that on the agenda coming up, so hopefully we get to talk about that stuff. Are there any further community concerns? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to board business and presentations. First up, we have filling one vacant at-large seat. And interested residents will have brought the proof of residency already to Curtis. If you are interested, please stand up and come to the microphone. Just the one.
Hi, my name is Richard Ching, and I'm interested in filling this seat. Thanks.
Wait, where do you live?
Oh,
I live on Green Street near 1427, if anybody's interested.
Know that number.
That's good.
Thank you, Richard. Janelle, were you interested in running for the seat?
Yes, board. As a former board member, I do want to reiterate that though I was a board member that was absent sometimes, it was due to training and or emergency services. So a lot of my absences were out of island or out of state. I understand that you guys need to take that in consideration. However, being back on island and not traveling to Kauai so frequently or any emergency services, I am now available to take concerns and to hear all of our neighbors when it comes to Makiki. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Janelle. Are there any nominations for the two, Richard and Janelle, or Janelle? Chuck. Oh, microphone, please. But
Yes, I'd like to move that we consider Richard Ching for that vacancy on our board.
okay. And then one second. No. Okay. No. 01.
Is this only one position? Okay.
Yes, there's only one vacancy, so we will have to. So if someone nominates Janelle, then
I
we
would
will-
like to nominate
Okay.
Janelle.
And then Adam Kirchman is nominating Janelle.
And I second the nomination for Jan.
Second that.
Thank you. A second is not needed, but appreciated. Okay, and we have a smidge of time, so if you would like another minute to speak to your nomination, Richard or Janelle.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I live on Green Street, right near 1427 Ernest, the one we've been complaining about. I'm also a Scoutmaster with Troop 10, Kamiki. Just got a girl troop started, and I'm also the Cub Master for Pack 10. So I've been pretty busy with community stuff. We're a sister. Our feeder troop, our feeder school is from Luna Lilo. I mean, Liho, not Luna Liho. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions?
How long have you been in Makiki?
Since 2004.
And
yeah.
And Arthur, I think I saw you.
I have a question for Janelle.
Oh, okay.
As well as the board. Now, she earlier represented Iwamoto. And will your role continue with Iwamoto?
Yes, my role would also continue with Iwamoto's office till the end of legislation session, which is going to be about May 5th, approximately.
Okay, go ahead, Janelle.
Some other things, I am with the Civil Air Patrol, which is the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary. I also am actively involved in education, so I am a master student at Grand Canyon University getting my MBA. I do come from a background of public administration, so doing public discussions and also working with various organizations like the Navy Closure Task Force Red Hill. And that's one of the reasons why I also left the neighborhood board back then, was to ensure that I am not violating any DOD policies and rules or neighborhood board rules as well. Yes, Mr. Sequest.
How long have you been in Makiki?
I have been in Makiki since about the past 6 years now. I do live on Pensacola Street at Village Maluhia. Very beautiful building. Of course, all of our buildings are beautiful, but definitely love this community and have loved to call it home. I'm originally from Hawaii Kai, grew up in Puli'o'o, graduated from Kaiser High School and attended most of the schools, Ainahaina and Niu Valley. So my history is rooted here in Hawaii, but also more importantly here in Makiki as well now. Any other questions?
Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Nathan.
Richard Ching or Janelle Fujinaka, please indicate
or
the resident you would like to vote for.
I guess really quick,
I have
Arthur.
one question. You didn't answer it. Is there any board regulations that says a person that's representing a senator, legislator, councilman, that they can't be on our board? Thank you.
Sorry, thank you for that clarification.
Okay. Chen, absent. De La Cruz,
Yes.
Ching or Fujinaka? De La Cruz absent. De Picoswane. Please indicate your vote.
Janelle Fujinaka.
Janelle. Okay. Eberhard.
Janelle.
Galant.
Janelle.
Kawano. Fujinaka. Kirby. Fujinaka. Kirchman.
No.
Fujinaka. Lee. Ching. Mitchell.
Janelle.
Fujinaka. Nakamoto. Fujinaka. Salasa.
Ching.
Ching. Silva. Absent. Steelquist.
Janelle.
Fujinaka. Witham.
Fujinaka.
Fujinaka. And Char. Fujinaka. 11 votes for Fujinaka, 2 votes for Ching. Janelle Fujinaka has been appointed to neighborhood board number 10. And if you could go to the microphone and please. Yes. Okay. Call it quick.
Okay, calling a quick recess to swear in.
Oh, if you could do it at the microphone, yeah. And then you can raise your right hand. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I also faithfully support the Constitution and laws
that I will faithfully support the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the state of Hawaii,
of the state of Hawaii,
the charter and laws
the charter and laws
of the city and county of
of the
Honolulu,
city and county of Honolulu,
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan,
and the provisions of the neighborhood plan,
and will conscientiously and impartially
and will consciously and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
to the best of my ability
to the best of my abilities
as a member of the neighborhood board
as a member of the neighborhood board,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can start writing.
Congratulations, Janelle. Thank you very much.
Thank you, board.
Okay, and moving on to approval of written summaries for video record, Thursday, October 16th, 2025, and Thursday, November 20th, 2025. Are there any corrections for the minutes? Richard.
Yeah, so I was absent and it's noted in the call to order, but then I was listed twice as voting A, but I wasn't here. So, but so yeah, it's just, if you could remove my name from, let's see, where are we at here? Page 3, board business. Approval of written summary for video record. My name is there, so remove that. I wasn't here. And then also on page 4, what was this about? At the very top, support the Hurt 100 trail run, I think that is. Yeah, and my name is there, but again, I wasn't here. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and make those corrections. Okay, are there any other corrections? Seeing none, we have our minutes. Next up, the Exceptional Tree Program presentation by Miles Ritchie.
Miles Ritchie online.
I'm here. Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Can you see my PowerPoint in presentation view? Okay, great. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Miles Ritchie. I am the current chair of the Arborist Advisory Committee for the City and County of Honolulu, as well as the programs director for the Outdoor Circle, which is Hawaii's oldest environmental nonprofit. Today, I'm going to quickly go over Hawaii's Exceptional Tree Program. Hopefully, some of you have heard about it before, but if not, happy to always talk story about this afterwards if this, catches your attention and some interest. Okay. Did it switch to the map image for you guys?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, great. So Hawaii's Exceptional Tree Program began in 1975. So we just hit the 50th anniversary back in May. And it was enacted by the state legislature to recognize and conserve Hawaii's most iconic tree specimens. And even though it's a statewide law, it's actually mandated and implemented by the 4 counties through a mayor-appointed arborist advisory committee. And their primary role is to receive nominations and determine if trees should be put on this protected list or not. Now, to be recognized as an exceptional tree, a candidate, so a nominee, must meet 1 or more of these 7 selection criteria. So historical cultural value, age, rarity, location, size, aesthetic quality, or endemic status. Now, these trees can either be individual specimens or in groves, and this began in 1975 predominantly due to a noticeable loss of iconic trees in the Honolulu area. So legal protections were put in place, so much so that these trees cannot be removed unless they are a threat to public safety or they happen to die at the end of their natural lifespan. And to help with some of the maintenance, because a lot of these trees, they don't have to be very large or old, but generally they are. In 2004, a tax deduction was implemented, so a $3,000 tax deduction every 3 years per exceptional tree for maintenance purposes on private property was put in place. And the great thing is anyone can nominate these trees, but on the nomination form, the property owner has to sign off on the nomination. Just a little bit of a fun fact and why we're really trying to promote this to the, the community is that, as you can see here, a lot of these trees are actually on military property. So it's great that these trees have been recognized in those locations, but we really need to highlight the trees that are on public and private land as well, because the trees are out there. They just need to be nominated and then considered. So some of the things we need to consider here is that a lot of these trees are aging out, right? So in 1975, many of these trees that are still on the list were already old. So we need to start replenishing the pipeline with new trees. And we need to also factor in that there's a lot of development taking place that's been raised to this evening. So making sure that these trees are factored into permitting processes and that new trees that are put in the ground actually are ideal species that can reach those mature ages, various sizes, maybe some rare ones as well. So we're trying to just make sure that we protect those that we have, we recognize them, put them on the list, get them protected, but also start the next pipeline, the next generation of these exceptional trees so that future generations will be able to really appreciate these iconic and majestic specimens.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm out of time.
Yeah. If you don't mind summarizing your remarks, thank you.
Yeah, so essentially, if you would like to learn more, the City and County of Honolulu has a great website where you can figure out everything related to this program. You can go to the Outdoor Circle website as well. There's a step-by-step process of how to nominate these trees, find all the forms, and go from there. And if anybody has any questions, I will put my email in the chat as well. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Miles. Are there any questions from board members? And certainly, we'll if you have any questions, he has his email as well. But Janelle.
Sorry, my apologies. In regards to the public and private lands, are general public members able to go ahead and provide information so that they can nominate certain foliage on their property, and or if a member of the public wants to nominate, is that available for them on that website?
So sorry, I'm not sure I'm understanding your question correctly. So anybody can nominate trees regardless of public or private property. If it's on public lands, for example, in a public park, anybody can nominate it. And when it comes to our committee, then we'll reach out to, if it's Division of Urban Forestry, whomever, we'll reach out to the correct county or state entity to try and get that signature. Private property wise, it's up to the nominator ideally to talk to the homeowner first, see if they're interested, and then submit the nomination. But we can also work with the parties involved as well. And all those forms are both on the City and County's website, but also the Outdoor Circle as well.
Thank you. No, you did answer my question. That actually is perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. I'll go ahead and take Sam, and then I see Claire, and then we'll go ahead and move on. So Sam.
Yeah, we had a tree on was cut down that was on Pensacola and Wilder. And we didn't know at the time, because the way the law's written, there's no input from the neighborhood board. So they just went and cut it down, and then, there is no response from the builder that's building a housing development in that area and the tree itself was partially on city and county land. So do you know anything about that?
So I'm not familiar with the specific instance. Now, what would happen is it's pretty much where the trunk is located, right? So was that more
Yeah.
on the private property side? Do you know? Because if the
It
canopy's
was
coming
kind of
over,
like both. It was kind of like on both.
yeah. So this is the unfortunate thing is, and this is why this program is really good is there's minimal protections as of right now. To if it's on private property, you can do what you want with your tree, right? So that's a whole different discussion. We can talk about that some other time. But as of right now, if it was on private property, they are entitled to remove it if they want to do so, and if it wasn't on this exceptional list.
Yeah.
So should there be? Yeah, it's a whole nother discussion if there should be more community input and how it would go about getting the info to everybody. Should they come to neighborhood boards? Yeah, would love to discuss that when we have a little more time.
Thank you. Claire.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Miles. Claire Santos, also an Outdoor Circle member. Quickly about that tree on the corner there. Outdoor Circle was called in and did evaluate and found that it was on private property, so nothing anyone could do about it. I'm not clear why this comes up every month. Anyway, my question, does condo property count?
Yes, of course.
Okay, because I am the one person on the committee to determine some foliage and such on the part of our property. We pulled out all the existing 40-year-old trees because termites had them, and one of them fell over. So now we have this empty space. Can I look to you for some guidance about what to plant and how to determine if we can replace them with another tree under this exceptional tree program?
Yeah, so happy to discuss that. So I popped my email in. It's really easy. It's just miles@outdoorcircle.org. Yeah, we're happy to chat anytime. Just reach out to me and yeah, we can talk about species that might go well there and the program itself in greater detail.
Awesome. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Claire. Okay. In the interest of time, I would like to nothing to call the question. I was going to say thank you so much, Miles, and we'll go ahead and move on to the discussion on Honolulu City Council legislation because we have Tyler here. Thank you so much for being here, Tyler. And thank you so much, Miles. Okay.
Well, Chair, I don't know how you want to frame this, but I'm happy to sort of dive in. I know there's a couple things that there's 3 bills specifically that were laid out in the agenda. But before we get started on that, first of all, it's very good to see all of you. The reason why we're here to talk about this is, well, let's talk about our housing and the housing challenges we face. I think it's no secret that our island needs more housing. And there may be, I don't know if there's anyone who would disagree with that assessment. This year, there are 400 seniors at Roosevelt High School and about 400 seniors at McKinley High School. If each of them get married to one another 10 years from now, they're all going to want to get married and all want to find somewhere to live. We're going to need 400 new units just for those students. Down the street, Punahou, there's another 400 kids, and down the road is Farrington, and the other way is Kaimiki High School, and it starts to add up. Every single year, we need to be providing enough housing for local families. You know, we could shut down the airport tomorrow and stop anyone from moving here, anyone else from investing here, but this does not change reality that our population continues to grow because people have kids and they want to have families and people deserve a place to be. How many people in this room are renters? How many people and of you has your rent stayed the same or gone up in the last 5 years? It's all gone up. And for those of you who, has anyone bought a place in the last 5 years? Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. Those prices, as we've seen, are going up and up and up. Single family home in this island is now over $1 million for average single family home. We have to do something. And we didn't get here overnight. And so I want to make sure that we frame where we're at, because it's really important. Where did this inflection point start? The ways that the city creates housing, deals with housing, is different than the way the state does. The city regulates zoning and land use. And so what are the tools that the city can use in terms of zoning and land use to either create more housing or prevent housing in areas where we don't want housing to be? Zoning is the first one. We have agricultural land around the island that's designated agricultural. We have industrial land where you shouldn't be building housing because it's industrial. And then we have residential zones, single family, we have apartment zones, we have this sort of special Waikiki zone and a special Kaka'ako zone. Within that, we also regulate things like building heights, things like the building envelope, so how far you have to be from the boundary of the property, 10 feet in most cases. We'll also regulate how much parking you have to provide and the shape and size of the windows and all kinds of other things. But right now, putting aside the other bills we're going to talk about, in here in Makiki, in an apartment zone, A2, most of it is A2 apartment zoned, what can you do? Because I want to frame this conversation, make sure that we all understand that separate from Bill 7, separate from any of these other programs, if I were to buy a property right now, let's say that Order House on Pensacola Street that I know this board was really working on for years, 5,000 square feet, A2 zone, what can you do? Your setback has to be 10 feet from the front property line. Your side setback is either 5 or 10 feet, depending on the situation. So those are your setbacks. Your height is based on what's in the zoning map. For much of Makiki, it's 150 feet. In other areas, it's 40 feet or 60 feet. In some places, 90. Do you have to provide parking? You do not. Under the current A2 zoning, even without Bill 7, parking, off-street parking is not a requirement. Even without Bill 7. This has been in place since 2020. And I share all of this because I know that there's a lot of consternation about Bill 7 projects. But if you didn't apply for a Bill 7, this is what the standards would be. 10 feet on the side, 10 feet in front, 5 or 10 feet inside. Your height would be potentially more than 60 feet. And you still don't have to provide any off-street parking. Now, turning to Bill 7. It's no secret that we haven't been building enough apartments around the island. We're very good at building single-family homes out in Kapolei. We do that all day long. Next time you drive out there, it's going to be more. We're also pretty good at building really luxury high-rise buildings in Kaka'ako. We all see it. What we're not very good at is the stuff in the middle. And we really haven't been building quite enough of that. So how do we get about doing it? In 2019, the city created a program called Bill 7. It was signed into law as Ordinance 19-8. That's a lot less sexy to say than Bill 7. It's a lot easier to say that. So what did Bill 7 do? It allowed you, if you commit to renting these units at a certain price or less, you could get a waiver on height up to 60 feet. You could, your setbacks would be 5 feet instead of the 5/10 feet. And you could have additional density up to 4.0 FAR. Density is sort of a measurement of how much stuff you can squeeze in a lot. By the way, in our regular apartment zones, it caps out at about 1.9. But basically, the building envelope is there. And so that's what the change was made in 2019. And as a result, several of these projects came up. Many of them were here in Makiki, others from Macaulay. There's one downtown. There's two in Laliha and Palama. There's two in Wahiwa. Anyway, there's a handful there. So these projects have come along, and they've resulted in about 1,000 new units around the island. Nowhere near what we need to deal with our housing shortage, but it's there. Along the way, there have been some issues that have come up with Bill 7 projects, and I've heard from folks in this community about them. They're not in the right place, right? There's one that I know is getting a lot of attention up on the slopes of Punchbowl, far away from the bus route. Closest bus route's number 4, which goes along Magellan. And you can walk, or it goes on Ward and Green, and you can walk down to Magellan and catch 122. So that's one issue. There are a number of other issues. So we proposed Bill 72, which I'll talk about in a little bit, as well as I think some folks that wanted to see more parking and other things proposed Bill 53. Bill 53, maybe we'll start there. Bill 53 would require 1 off-street parking unit for every 2 units that are built. And again, if you just bought a piece of property and wanted to build any kind of apartment without participating in the Bill 7 program, your requirement would be 0. And so this is above and beyond what's under the underlying zoning. It also would require a resident manager for these projects, which if you were just to buy a property and build under the existing zoning, you would not be required to do. Both of these are expensive things. And so I know there's a little bit of concern and consternation about that. And so that's kind of one aspect of it. With Bill 72, which is a bill that I introduced, we're doing a couple things. We are creating an incentive, basically, because people said, oh, it's too far away from, some of these projects are too far away from bus routes. Bill 72 says if you are within a certain distance, I believe right now it's 1,250 feet from a major bus line, that is a bus line with a bus every 16 minutes. That's sort of the definition that we're operating off of. You get a bonus. So places like McCully, Emoili, where the number 1 and number 2 buses go. Places like Kalihi-Palama, where the number 1 bus comes every 5 minutes during rush hour. These are options. These are incentives that we can do. We're also getting rid of a lot of sort of these duplicate things in the bill. I see we're scrolling through this table. There's no reason for this table. This table basically says 7 stories. That's the second to last row across the way. Unless you're in this last category, unless you're type 5A construction, you need 5. That's what that table says. It's a whole table that takes up half a page, and we're consolidating it into 1 row in another table. And so I'm happy to walk through this, but this is sort of the overall framework for our underlying zoning, how we got here, the Bill 7 program, which many of you are probably familiar with, as well as sort of these 2 other bills that are floating out there. So maybe I've talked a lot. Maybe I can turn it back over to the chair to see how he wants to do questions and comments.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the kind of deep dive, Tyler, and explaining the gist of Bill 53 and Bill 72. So now we'll go ahead with questions, and since I know some of our folks are eager to eager to speak up. So, Adam.
Okay, I'm a resident manager of a fairly large building, Pensacola. I'm within a stone's throw of 2 Bill 7 buildings that are completely finished or aren't occupied. I have been told by some pretty credible sources that 2 more are coming up within stone's throw of my building, and I'm being literal. If I stood up on the top of my building, I could probably hit one. These are my concerns. The target, your point about children being born and the population, and all that, extremely important. I agree with you. But what this bill does is it encourages one of the, if not the most economically hungry aspect of our island, large businesses, large economic entities frothing at the mouth at this possibility. And it doesn't seem that there are enough oversight to protect the public, the same children that you are telling us need these homes, the same people who economically can't afford these homes. It seems to me without proper oversight that this bill is not going to help them, but is going to become a way for large entities to become vulturous and hurt them. So I look at this in a different approach. Okay. So it's not about just protecting the neighborhood. It's also protecting those people you're putting in that building. So you need resident manager on site to give them the same dignity and equity and inclusion that people who can afford luxury condos have, or not even just luxury condos, just basic condos. My condo is not a luxury item. You know, I love it. I think it's beautiful, but I worked really hard to keep that old building up, and those people deserve every bit of dignity as the ones that are living in my unit. Okay, so I think that the rules about parking, for example, we just on Pensacola Street, they have a big bike lane. There used to be parking there, and they put a bike lane on that road, which is, they could have put it in many other similar areas going the exact same distance, same direction, but they chose that one, and they've said, no, we're never moving that bike lane. Well, guess what? You've got 200 residents moving into a street with no parking, and then no parking on the street as well. So that's, someone's got to have that conversation. Also, just basic, the benefiting of the local economy. Where are these people's rent going? When you create laws and restrictions for these buildings, who's enforcing them? How long are they going to be enforced? And when they go away, is that open game for them to just do what they want again? And the last thing you just mentioned about changing the rules with your thing about using bonuses or incentives. If the incentive doesn't make them enough money, they're not going to care what that incentive is.
Adam, sorry, if you don't mind,
I'll get off my soapbox.
Summarizing your remarks, please.
That's enough.
Okay, thank you. I guess we'll recognize these two and then give Tyler a chance to respond. So we'll start with Amanda, then Arthur, then Tyler can respond, and then I see Eric and Steelquist want to go after that. So, Amanda.
And me.
Oh yes.
No, you don't have to turn that. Just point it towards you.
Sure.
Oh, okay. I think we're good. I don't know. I'll take this one. In regards to Bill 72, I think it's great. I think building walkable cities, it's a little backwards, you know, with the business zoning, but I think it's phenomenal because it's still getting walkable cities. I'm just worried about the lot coverage reduction. I understand why. I get it. I just worry about permeable surfaces. We got a lot of rainwater this year, all within, 1 week. So I would love to see some sort of mitigation bonuses if they do something with their roof or waterways or something, just so if we cram a building on 100% lot size, that's not ruining, sidewalks and public spaces.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to dive into that just because it's sort of a technical point. So for Bill 72, as well, backing up. So under the Bill 7 program, the original program, right, there was a maximum building a lot coverage of 80%. But if you remember, there was also the 10-foot setback in the front and 5 to 10 feet setbacks on the side. So if you think of a traditional 10,000 square foot lot, 100 feet by 100 feet, and you take away the 10 feet in the front, 5 to 10 feet on the side, 5 feet in the back, and you do the math, even if you were to max out that lot with the setbacks, you're at 76.5%. So nobody is hitting the 80% mark because it's governed by the setbacks. And it gets weirder when you're on like flag lots and other weirdly shaped lots. But I think the goal was if you regulate it via the setbacks, the maximum lot coverage doesn't really matter. The same thing with, you might have noticed that in the original Bill 7 bill, there was a maximum lot size of 20,000 square feet. You couldn't build a Bill 7 project on a lot larger than 20,000 square feet. Well, how many apartment zoned lots are there in urban Honolulu that aren't already built on that are 20,000 square feet or more? Any guesses? There's zero. There are zero. So this maximum lot size in the law is sort of meaningless. There's no such lot. We could also say you can't, there's any number of things that you could say, but we're never going to like reach them. You could say, you know, thou shalt not have a nuclear powered apartment building. It's not going to happen. And so we have, so some of these things are just taking off the books, things that aren't ever going to be meaningful in terms of regulating the size or density. But absolutely, permeable surfaces is the one thing that I would actually like to come back and talk about a little bit because, you know, we're dealing with stormwater, utility fee, and other things. I'd actually like to start with the permeable surfaces before we even get to the stormwater utility, because that's something that I think we can start shifting the conversation.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and then Arthur, and then I'll give Tyler a chance to respond to both Adams and Arthur's.
Several questions. Number one, Kapiolani Boulevard, over by Iolani High School. They took all of the low rent housing, knocked it down, and now we have towers going up with only 20, I think it's 20% for low rent. The other is we have a lot of high density throughout town. We also have Bill 70 saying you can only build so high, but you have the air rights bill where a person can sell their air rights so they can build beyond that field. What is your bill going to do to save these condos from being low rent that isn't low rent? Because the low renter is paying the same maintenance fee as the person that paid $1 million. They go by square foot. So I don't see any protection for these people, these 400, 800, whatever, coming in and affording. And number two, condo prices are down this year. And why are they down? Our population, according to the statistics, is down. So we have more of an outflow than a plus gain in our community. So I'm just concerned with what you're talking about is not really apples and oranges comparisons. So I'd like to get more into this with you if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to talk about that as well. So that area along Kapiolani Boulevard is not the kind of Bill 7 thing that we're talking about here. In fact, that project went through a whole separate process called 201H, which is a process that the state has set up, and it basically lets the developers come to the state agencies first and then to the county and say, well, here's what we put on the table. It's 20% set aside affordable. You let us go to 400 feet tall and we'll have a negotiation. Frankly, I don't really like that as much as having clear rules that are set down and parameters that people can follow. And so that's what we're trying to do with the Bill 7 program, where we know that there are some issues and concerns. So here's the standard to follow, right? If you're within a certain amount of the bus line, you get this number of units. If you're not, you don't. And the reason why so many developers go through the 201H process, and actually there's one on Alexander Street that I think you guys are maybe got a presentation about, and the Manoa Neighborhood Board for sure, because they've been very vocal, is our existing apartment zoning is really restrictive. And so these developers seek out these alternative pathways. I'd like to get to a point where our existing apartment zones allow regular apartments to be built in the first place that don't require this negotiation and all the business about the air rights and everything else.
About permitting.
And permitting is a whole other thing. So actually, Adam, to your point, I didn't get a chance to respond to you. I'll work backwards this way. The one on the corner, Pensacola and the H1 Lunalilo Street, that one is still not occupied because of permitting. They haven't gotten their certificate of occupancy. The permitting process, as you know, is really long. So we created this alternative pathway where you could hire a special engineer and they inspect as you go, and they let you start building with your application, but not a completed building permit. You do all the inspections and it follows what's in the plan. And the idea is you let DPP catch up to where the project is. Unfortunately, for several of these projects, they managed to finish because it only takes 6 to 9 months to build. And DPP still hasn't finished the permitting. That's also a problem that we need to fix. And I've been super vocal about this. The mayor actually yelled at me about his electronic system a few months ago. That was in Civil Beat. that's something we have to fix. And the fact that we keep having to create alternative pathways, but not dealing with the underlying issue is also part of the problem. The fact is, we created Bill 7 as an alternative pathway. I wasn't there at the council, but it was created as an alternative pathway because it's too hard to build under the existing zoning. That's something we have to change, and that's a harder conversation to have. But in the meantime, this program's here, and how do we change it and make it work for communities?
Okay, and then just double checking. So Adam, did you feel like your questions were?
And the
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I hear you on the resident manager thing. Yeah.
Mike,
No, so
microphone,
there's
Adam.
two other things that I guess the parking. I hear that. This is even if you were to buy property right now and not do under Bill 7, there's no off-street parking requirement in the apartment zone areas. And so this is, I think, a bigger question than Bill 7. Parking is also expensive to build, and it takes, it's hard to make things pencil out. This is areas that if it's a surface parking lot, you could have housing units. If it's a multi-step structure, it's difficult to build that and then engineer a building on top of it. And that's why you get some of these buildings with really weird columns. So that's sort of a harder, bigger question to deal with. And then resident manager, that's also expensive, right? Somebody's paying for this unit.
Right, but as you said, you were gonna make it like if they choose to do that, they get a bonus. Well, if the bonus doesn't outweigh the cost, then they don't care.
Yes, then they're not going to do it. Right, then they're not going to avail themselves of the bonus. Yeah.
The thing is that we're framing it wrong. You start by framing it with that this is for the children, which is admirable. But in the end, it leaves it wide open for predators, economic predators, to just take advantage of it. And it seems that in the time that I've lived here, which is not very long, I've noticed a common pattern of trying to fix issues by opening doors to predators.
Adam, if you don't mind speaking into the mic, please.
Oh.
But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. And this is a difficult issue. I'll be the first one to admit this. And it's one that I've been working on even before I was on the council. Housing policy has always been really interesting to me. There are a lot of.
And I'd also like to preface this that when we say low income in Hawaii, we're just talking about working class people.
And yeah, so this whole business of economic predation, right? Who has the ability to buy a home and who doesn't, who has the ability to pay the rent and who doesn't. If we're not building enough housing and rents go up, the only person profiting is the people that currently own property and are able to rent it out. And the people who are suffering are the ones who have to pay an additional $100 that they didn't have to pay last year each and every month. So it's a tough issue for sure.
Okay. So we are starting to run out of time. So
had to stand up though.
No, I know. So just to preface, Tyler, will you be able to make next month as well? Because clearly, there's a lot more to this conversation, and we'll have a lot more time next month.
That is the 19th.
Yes.
Can we do a special thing?
Possibly. Yeah, I think I should be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, because clearly there's a lot more folks that want to talk about it. Yeah. So I would like to prioritize now attendees. Everyone on the board, send me your questions.
Okay.
You all have my email. I'll forward them to send them all to Tyler so that he'll have a more formulated response come February. And I know it's harder for attendees to do that. So I'd like to prioritize 2 attendees. Quick show of hands who would like to speak. Oh, yes. Let's see here. Claire speaks all the time. Michelle and if you could just line up here and yeah, we'll take 2. Yeah, I know. But Claire, you have send me your stuff as well, and I'll package it with all the board members when I send it to Tyler. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
All right, Rich Kaz. I've been in the neighborhood for 25 years. And this most recent affordable housing, and probably the first one that Paul Lam had put up on 1427, Green Street. My concern was, what is affordable? You know, we are looking at those units that were studios, 233 square foot for 1550. Those units stayed vacant for months until he decided to start putting in Section 8 and other programs in there. So what is affordable? You know, I think they're talking about the ones in Eva as well. What is affordable? I mean, they're so extremely high. So these buildings are getting built for the developers to do inexpensive, affordable buildings, but not building for the residents, the people that actually, like in my neighborhood, we have the hospitals, we have Queens, we have Straub, we have all these hospitals, workers that are looking for rent. And to try to go into a 230 square foot unit for 1550 to 1900, it's not affordable. You got no parking. You go across the street, the other buildings in the neighborhood, you got one apartment that is like one bedroom with parking, 1350. That's across the street. So why is across the street 1350, 1400, and yet we're talking about 230 square foot, no parking, 1550, and now they're putting all these other programs in and not really going to the people that are the teachers, you know, the hospital workers, the restaurant workers. Those are the guys that we need to get in those units because that's affordable. So why not do that? Why are we building for or allowing the developers to build these units for them to make money, to make profit? Go to the state, have them pay, because we pay that Section 8. I mean, it's a taxpayer program that we pay out of our tax-paying money. Why not have those affordable buildings for affordable people? I mean, I think that's kind of the key on it. And I think the other thing with having a resident manager, if you're going to put in Section 8, you got to put people to watch over this situation, you know, resident managers, and, you know, put people in there that actually kind of help the program work at that building. But I think that's kind of my whole key of, we're not against affordable buildings. We're not, we want that, but we need it affordable for the people in a neighborhood. I think that's kind of where I'm at. But thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rich. Michelle.
Hi, so Michelle Luke again. Everybody knows I've talked about Bill 7 ad nauseum. We've done a resolution in December 2024 that this board thankfully approved, highlighting the issues with many projects. For those who are not familiar with Bill 7, what it allows is a relaxation of what is normally a building code requirement for setbacks and other things. At the time the bill was first passed, fire department and many of our first responders actually were concerned about relaxing these code requirements, which are in place for life safety. Having minimum setbacks means that you are in greater danger of fires, jumping to other buildings and all kinds of things. So for the sake of affordable housing, these were relaxed. Parking wasn't required. One of the big issues was that there wouldn't be a requirement to bring these projects to the neighborhood board so that community could comment on it. So, and that has become a big issue because there's no voice that any of the community members have other than to hopefully chase down a council member or somebody who might lend an ear and listen to the problems. Bill 7 needs to be fixed before there are any additional bills that pile on top of it. Bill 7 allows for 15 years for a developer to not have to pay property taxes, not have to pay for any of the infrastructure around it for sewer, whatever. We as taxpayers are paying for that. So they are getting supplemented in so many different ways already. There are bills that are throwing money at them for grants and for other exemptions. And we know that there's no financial accountability. What are we really getting by throwing all of this money at developers? And it's Christmas for them, especially for those like Mr. Lamb, who see that in 15 years, they're going to build this building at great cost to the taxpayers, hold it for 15 years, and then not have to use this as affordable housing. So what is really the investment we are making? And in addition to that, I totally agree that it invites economic predators like Mr. Lamb to come in. If you go on his website, he invites foreign investors to come in for these projects, which means in 15 years, are these buildings going to be owned by local residents, college graduates, high school graduates who need homes? No, it's going to be owned by foreign investment, and it's no longer going to be affordable. So Bill 7 needs to be fixed before we start talking about expanding it.
Okay, thank you very much, Michelle. And then, like I said, in the interest of time, if we could have Tyler respond one last time to the comments that we just heard, and then I'll clear the next month's agenda as much as possible to have a more fuller discussion.
Sure. So I want to talk a little bit about how affordability is calculated, right? And I want to make sure we're all on the same page about where these numbers come from, and they're not out of thin air. So the idea that the federal government has had for many years is roughly people shouldn't be paying more than 30% of their income on housing costs. And so what does that mean? So for a family, a couple, let's say a husband and wife or two partners who collectively make $100,000, that means they should be spending through the course of the year no more than $30,000 on housing. You do the math, that's about $2,600 a month to go. Okay. And so that's what a family in that situation, the federal government thinks is affordable and attainable for them. So that's where these numbers come from. And that's roughly about 100% area median income here in Hawaii. And so that's roughly where the numbers come from. They're not out of thin air. We set these parameters so that, yes, it does take investors to build buildings. I can't wish them into existence. None of us can. Also, nobody's going to build a building where they lose money. So we set this policy where to be considered affordable based on the federal government standard is 30%, and thus the rents are such and such and such. Based on that, you can make a calculation of, well, if there's 20 units in this building, they rent for this much, it's going to cash flow this much and generate this, and it can finance the construction of this building, et cetera, et cetera. We have to have these policies in place, clear, followable policies, because if we don't, then it's just going to be up to anybody to pick the price. Some people, the city might say, well, you develop for X, you can only charge this much. Number Y, I don't like you as much. You can only charge that number. We have set policies for a reason. And so based on that, you go out and find investors and do all of this, and you build a building based on the reliance of, well, the city set this policy in place in 2019, and here it is. And so I understand, the frustrations of how it feels, but this is based on sort of the context of there's federal housing policy, which sets what's considered affordable. We implement it on the state level and city level. And that's how it is. I know that there's also units that are cheaper out there, and I think that's great. Why are they cheaper? Some of the buildings are older. That's one thing that leads to sometimes they're being cheaper. Sometimes the original owner bought it many, many years ago for much less, and their mortgage payments are done, and that's what they charge. New construction is expensive. And so we need to kind of understand that context, because we can't simply wish that every new building out there is only going to charge $500 a month in rent. Because if we set a policy no more than $500 a month, no one's going to build anything. And so we have to sort of come to terms with, we live in a world that's a little complicated now. That doesn't mean that we can't go about fixing things. And so we've heard, and I'm going to wrap this up here, but we've heard a number of things, right? There's no parking and it's too far away from bus route. Okay, great. Now let's fix that. So let's incentivize and say, okay, well, if you build here, you can do more. Simply saying, thou shalt not do it here, you must do it over there, is also not going to work. This is, in many ways, we live in an economic society where there are carrots and sticks, and the carrots work. There aren't as many sticks when there's not housing being built in the first place. And so we can move forward and work on all of these things, but we have to keep on creating housing for the next generation. And if we don't create housing, rents are going to go up. That's the plain and simple of it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Tyler, for being here with us. And yes, please make it February. And for the board, please send me all of your concerns, and I'll forward that on to him so we can have another productive conversation on this next month. Okay. Moving on to board and community reports. Nice Neighborhoods Committee. Harris, if you don't mind keeping it short.
All right, thank you. The Nice Neighborhoods Committee, the next meeting is on the 26th of January, Monday, 2 p.m. It'll be at Representative Iwamoto's office. The main agenda item is what we're working on is our Kinao Community Hub program. And hopefully I'll have some time over the next months to share that. We're going to have the Honolulu Museum of Art has graciously offered to host our hub event, which will be on April 7th, which is a Tuesday evening. And I'll be bringing more details on that. And I hope that that will be a start in terms of discussion and planning of the Resilience Hub Plan, which we've been talking about for some time. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris. Next, we have the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization with Adam, myself, and Steelquist attended the last one. I believe in the interest of time, I will actually compile a more thorough report of what of these meetings that we've been attending. I've attended 2 so far since we were appointed by the board to the Citizen Advisory Committee. And yeah, so I hope to do that not in February because that is when we're going to clear time for the Bill 7 and related bills. So probably in March. Okay. And then with board announcements. So the next regular meeting, the Makiki-Lower Punchbowl-Tantalus Neighborhood Board number 10 is scheduled to meet on Thursday, February 19th, 2026 at 6 p.m. at Makiki District Park, the old community library building, 2nd floor, and online via WebEx. Meetings can be viewed on Olelo Focus 49 on the first Friday at 9 p.m. and third Sunday at 3 p.m. Follow us at www.facebook.com/MakikiNB and visit www.honolulu.gov/NCO/NB10 for Makiki Neighborhood Board info. Okay, and that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for our first meeting for the year, and we are adjourned.